Hey folks, you can probably see I'm up in my grandson's tree house, which I helped him build a couple of months ago. You probably saw that video. I thought I'd come up here and see how things are looking. Everything seems to be holding together quite well. You know, it's kind of funny. We built this tree house for him, and I don't think he's been up here that many times on his own. You know, sometimes when he has a friend over, they come up in the tree house, but I haven't seen them up here much. Anyway, you know, we can look down at the yard here. There's Poe. He's about 130 pounds now. He's just getting huge. Of course, the Sammy right there. And we back up to the woods, which is pretty nice. And then, of course, you can look out here, out into the woods, up the fire road. And but it's kind of, you know, as tree houses go, I think it's pretty nice. So I decided I would come up here and do a video on some of the stuff that I've been neglecting because all I've been doing is going fishing. And let's get that leaf out of the way. Alright, make sure that's going to stay where it's supposed to stay. Alright. There we go. There we go. I think that'll hold it. Anyway, so I haven't done a video on philosophy in a while, and what I wanted to talk about is things that have been going on out there in the world, and and the way that they're being represented, or should I say misrepresented, in the media. And it's pretty frustrating at times, and we only get told, you know, part of what's being discussed. We don't get all of the information that we need to help make decisions, right? Because the way, you know, especially with the current elections that are going on out there, and I don't care which side you're on, really doesn't matter one way or another, but we got to be able to make informed decisions, and it doesn't seem like we're being given the information or the context around what we need to be able to make those decisions. Let me see if I can get this little guy. Oh, he took off. Dang it. There was a little chickadee. Oh, you probably heard him. And he was just on a branch next to me, and I was going to show you, but he took off before I could do it. Anyway, you've probably heard me talk about Alexander Solzhenitsyn in the past, but I think there's a few things that he wrote that are really connected to where we are right now. And so I wanted to go through a couple of those. First one is, in our country, the lie has become not just a moral category, but an actual pillar of the state. When you think about a pillar of the state, we're talking about the things that hold it up, the foundation of the things that keep us stable and able to accomplish things, especially when we're making decisions. But if we're not getting access to that, well, what are we doing, right? So the lie has become a pillar of the state. Wow, that's kind of harsh, but it's deep and it really hits home right now, doesn't it? So, and I don't care who you're talking about in government right now. I mean, you've got, the guy from Kentucky who freezes in front of cameras. You've got other people that they just have their mouths are moving, but they don't say anything intelligible. And the reason, of course, is when people tell lies, they often have subtones that give them away. They're not authentic, and they probably know that you know, that we know, that they know that a lie is being told, but yet at the same time it is being accepted and believed that, you're going to go along with the lie even though you know it's a lie. So what kind of a deal is that? I'm worried that the sun is messing with you guys right now. I'm going to move you over here. Let me get you over here on this side of the tree house as it creaks below me. Don't worry, I built it so solid. I built it so that my grandson could play up here and not get hurt, so it's not going anywhere. Alright, just take me a second here. Let's get this set. There we go. Alright. The next one is probably just as important. And it says, people can only have power over other people until you have taken everything away from them. Problem is, once you have taken everything, he's no longer under your power. He is now free again. Now think about that for a second. Because if you don't have anything, because everything is gone, well then why would you do anything for somebody telling you to? You wouldn't. They've expended all their power. They've taken everything from you, and now you can do what you want. Sounds like some of the things that we're experiencing right now. I don't know if you've seen the stock market dip that's been going on lately, but man, that's going to hit a lot of people. And you got to wonder if the powers that be, the people that know the things that are going to happen in the decisions that are being made, are doing so with foreknowledge that they're going to happen, and they make money off of the fact that there's going to be fluctuations in the market. We've talked about that before, how some members of Congress are making 400% returns. I mean, they're better than Warren Buffett at making investments. Again, that's not the way it's supposed to be, right? But in fact, even Warren Buffett has been selling stock like crazy. I mean, he sold half of his holdings in Apple. Now, what does that tell you about Apple Corporation? It means that they're expecting that there's going to be a downturn, probably in both the short and long term, for most technology stocks. I'm not any sage about investing, but when I see things like that happening, you got to know that either this is being planned or that those folks knew in advance that it was going to happen. The next quote here by Solzhenitsyn is, "The battle lines between good and evil run through the hearts of every man." And he doesn't mean men as in males, he means men as in humans. And so those battle lines for good and evil are, they run through the heart of all of us. Why is that important to know? Well, because each of us has decisions to make about what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. And you make a choice. Are you going to make a decision? Which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the side of good, or are you going to be on the side of evil? And sometimes the lines in that are blurred. I am sure a lot of people out there in positions of power think that there's nothing wrong with them utilizing the information that they have access to and making an investment and then cashing in on that investment, or getting rid of that investment before a downturn in the market. Is that good or is that evil? Well, if other people don't have the ability to do that, they don't have access to that information. Isn't that called insider trading? That's not good. All right? They're having a negative impact on the people around them. Next, violence can only be concealed by a lie. And the lie can only be maintained through violence. Well, you know, I was in the military. The government has the biggest stake in violence. And going back to whether or not things are a lie or whether they're a truth, the value of lies is oftentimes higher than the value of truths, because lies can be used to literally make money. So, I mean, you've got to decide what's good and what's evil. Lies are obviously evil. You know, people say, oh, well, it's just a little white lie. But eventually, it's going to have a negative effect on somebody. And it's difficult to keep all those lies straight in your head. And eventually, you've got to build it. It's got to become bigger. And then you've got to use violence in order to keep it going. And it goes on and on and on until it all just collapses. Talking about violence, right? The biggest one, of course, the biggest violence that is out there is war. And with the things that are going on between the Ukraine and Russia, and then Israel and Iran, who then has supporters in Hezbollah and in Hamas, and on and on and on. It just goes on forever, right? But there's a point, there's a method to that madness. Just like in Orwell's 1984, the government would like to keep us at least feeling like we are in a state of war. And why is that? Solzhenitsyn has an answer. A state of war only serves as an excuse for domestic tyranny. Let me think about that for a minute. When you look at some of the things that are going on in this supposedly the freest country in the world, but you see people living on the street, veterans who went out and risked their lives for the future of this country, living in a tent underneath an overpass. The amount of drugs that are just absolutely terrible coming across the border. Fentanyl, of course, being one of them, but it's only one of them. I mean, we have had an uptick in the amount of heroin that's getting pumped into the streets. And why do they do that? It's in order to create that domestic tyranny so that those people in the upper echelons are able then to continue to profit and remain in power, because everybody else is concerned about all of the problems going on in society. And fixing those problems certainly isn't on the top of the agenda for those people in power. It's just like, many doctors, and then of course pharmaceutical companies and things like that, they don't want to really cure anybody, because a patient cured is a patient lost. All right? Keeping you in a perpetual state of needing them in order for your survival to continue allows them to have power over you and to keep that money flowing, which of course, money is power, power converts to money. You know the story. I don't have to repeat it again. Lastly, Solzhenitsyn says, everything that you add to a truth subtracts from that truth. So we get told truths about, well, let's take the war going on between Russia and the Ukraine. It is a truth that it was wrong for Russia to invade the Ukraine. Boom. All right? However, now we add this and that and this and that onto it, and we find out that, well, maybe there's other factors that we weren't told about. All right, remember that state of war. They want to keep us in that state of war. All right, the pillar of the state is the lie. And so oftentimes, you think about a building, it usually has at least 4 pillars going around it. But what if that pillar is a pedestal? All right, and that it's literally the pile of lies that keep us where we are. So everything that gets added to the truth subtracts from the truth. A state of war is necessary for these people to stay in power. The battle lines are chosen by our ability to get access to information, and we're only fed information that folks want us to know. And then we make decisions on things without the full picture. And it means that as long as they leave us with just a little bit of what we think of as power, you know, oh, your vote is so important, and it is. The problem is, you know, and that's a truth. Your vote is power, and your vote is important. But the more they add to that, it becomes diluted, and sooner rather than later, that vote doesn't have the value anymore that it has had in the past. And then, of course, if it gets taken away from you, like it has been for some people, you know, people get to the point where they say, you know what, to heck with this. I'm not even going to vote anymore. And in fact, a lot of people, some that live up here in Alaska, they literally run away from society to find a place out in the middle of the woods. Here comes the black helicopter, right, flying over the top. Tom, what are you talking about today? We'll let him get past. But, you know, folks will move away from population centers and just try to get away from it all because they're exhausted by being lied to. And they've come to the realization that, you know, maybe it's better not to participate. And at that point, they're free, right? At least for a little while, until things catch up with them. I believe it was Aristotle who said that the price that we pay for not being involved in our civic duty is to be ruled by uncivic people. And really, that's right on the point, isn't it? Anyway, I suppose I'll let you go, and I hope you liked the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to build the channel, and if you'll share it out with folks, that would be just fantastic. Anyway, I'll chat with you later. Bye.